And first off, we have the Autobot Commander, Silverbolt from the Aerial Bots. And at first, well, it's one of those where when we first found out the Aerial Bots were coming, you decided, yeah, we definitely want the Aerial Bots so we can go along with Menasor. But since you've seen him, how have you felt since you've seen him?
Even more like I want them.
So Nathan's favourite plane, as if you can have one, is the Concorde, yeah. And of course, Silverbolt is a Concorde. So yeah, like I said, you love Concordes, don't you? Like you're really fascinated by them. So to have a Concorde transformer that is also a combiner.
Yes, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and of course, speaking of the combining mode, I mean his base mode, not great, but I mean I love the artwork on the box as well that we're going to show that. But overall, I think Superion looks amazing. He looks just like he's out of the cartoon, which, as you guys know who follow us, I am a really big stickler for that. I love cartoon ones that look like they've just come out of the G1 cartoon. So he is definitely a must buy. I will probably get Nathan this one for his birthday, so he can have it as soon as possible, rather than having to save up for it.
Concord.
So we look forward to seeing him in the summer of 2025. So let's move on to another area. Well, one aerial box. We've only seen one properly so far. So the other aerial bot being released this year, next year in 2025, will be Slingshot. Now, I really disliked Slingshot. He's such a horrible transformer. He's such a horrible Autobot in the G1 cartoons. He's very arrogant and he doesn't really like humans very much. He's later humbled when they go back in time and they realise that Optimus Prime was Orion Pax and how evil Megatron really is. And I think he becomes a lot better then. But for a very long time, he's very, very cocky and very arrogant and very horrible. But I think he gets better when he's humbled in that sense. But what do you think of the look at it, Nate?
I mean, it does not help that it's kind of a render and not the actual figure. It does look a bit. It looks a bit more cartoony though.
It does look like they've edited the pictures a lot. I think it is the actual figure, but I think they have done a bit of post-processing. I think they've messed around with some filters and stuff like that because there's like a softness.
It doesn't look right.
There is almost like a blurriness and almost softness to it, but it seems like it's been something that's added. It's not a blurry picture; it's a blur that's been added.
It looks softer than the Optimus we previously got. And Simba just put his hand under the door.
Simba is desperate to get in, but we're not letting him in. His alt mode's pretty good, and his box art, is absolutely fine as well. We're not box collectors, are we? So we don't really keep the boxes.
Even though I have 2 boxes,
we do keep some boxes that mostly for your Titans.
But I have the Optimus Prime one over there, and I think
some Studio Series,
Super Optimus.
But we don't tend to keep them very long. And of course, the next Autobot we're going to talk about is Air Raid, and I do like Air Raid. I always like the design of this character. There's not really much else we can see. We've got the box art. Well, we've got the box art figure. Box art figure. The box art design. Artwork, should we say? That's it. The box artwork. There we go. Got there in the end.
Not the box art artwork.
No, not the box art. Not the art box work. But the art. The box. The box artwork.
Okay.
Right, there we go. And we do have a picture of someone who managed to get hold of him in the case, and he looks pretty cool. He looks like Air Raid, how I remember him. And it's going to be. So we're going to get. We've seen at least 3 of the 5 aerial bots, and we are excited. Very excited. So we're going to blast through the next 2 ones because they're basically just repaints / remolds, and that is Wasp, Transformers Animated Wasp, which is based on the Transformers Animated Bumblebee, and G2 coloured Grimlock. Cool. I like them. They're not bad, but Nathan doesn't have any animated figures.
Never actually really watched it that deep into it.
No.
I watched like the first 5 episodes.
I'm trying to get him to watch it because that's how I got back into Transformers, was via animated. At first I thought, oh my god, this looks awful. Then I really got into it and I really got back into Transformers then. And G2 Grimlock, we already have Grimlock. It's Studio Series Grimlock, just repainted. Cool paints, but not really for us. So, yeah, that's it for now. However, let's get into the meat of the products, which are, of course, the with it being Age of the Primes, let's talk about some Primes. So first off, out of the Primes, was revealed a few weeks ago, and that is Megatronus. Nathan, what do you think of Megatronus?
He looks very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. He looks awesome. I mean, the fire, that also looks pretty good, but people were saying that would damage the figure.
Yeah, so there was a bit of... There was some people who were a bit worried about the soft plastic. I don't know much about this, so if anyone knows more about it in the comments, but I saw on TFW 2005, a lot of people in the forums were very, very anxious. I suppose anxious is probably the word, or very cautious that the soft flame plastic could end up damaging the harder plastic over time. I don't know what that's about. I don't know much about that. But so I just assume, okay, that's just a thing. But however, it has been revealed that you can actually remove the plastic. So that's good. It's good that we can do that. So any potential damage is now prevented. Yeah. So we're just gonna again fly through. Well, not really fly through. So Megatronus, you really like the look of him, didn't you?
Yes, I want to buy him.
Yeah. I mean, even when we saw when we first heard that these were going to be released, and like the Fallen, aka Megatronus, was on the cards, you were already pretty much sold, weren't you?
Yes.
And as soon as you saw the figure, he was like, yes.
Massive cannon arm, big fire, big spear weapon.
Yeah. I can see this being retooled into a Megatron at some point. Maybe the Studio Series. I think some people are speculating he potentially, and you can see he sort of shares some of the Earthrise
characteristics.
Yeah, shape and the way he transforms. But obviously, I think he's a bit bigger than the Earthrise Megatron.
It's a good thing.
So yeah, hopefully that is true. So then, moving on, after we have Megatronus, we also have Primus? No, not Primer. Primer. That's it, Primer. Who looks actually pretty alright.
Yes, I do like the fact that the Matrix just plug into the sword.
Yeah.
And that it's not gold. Not a gold Matrix.
Yeah, it's silver, so it's a slightly different Matrix. I do like the blue blade in his sword. I think that's pretty cool.
Futuristic.
Yeah, his Cybertronian mode. It is very. Yeah, it's not really. I mean, you tend to have yours displayed in bot mode anyway. Yes. His bot mode. I'm not saying his Cybertron mode is bad. I just think it's a bit plain.
Trucky. Yeah,
but it is very Cybertronian though. So it's one of those where it fits.
If you want Cybertronian, that's what you want.
Yeah, if you look at it, you think, yeah, that is Cybertronian or futuristic, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not a regular car. He's not a regular Transformer. He is indeed some sort of Cybertronian. Again, it just doesn't look very inspiring in anything else, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Next, we have Solus Prime, who again she looks pretty interesting. Very Decepticon colours.
Yes.
But you get the impression she's a good guy. I don't really know how the Primes sort of are. And obviously you have the Fallen, but before he was the Fallen, when he was Megatronus, like in Transformers 1, for example, Megatronus, it sounds like he's a good guy. Because he...
Mega. Really.
Yeah, because he fought with the other Primes. Again, and it was only because Sentinel set them up. So it wasn't like... So his origin's probably a bit different in Transformers 1. So it'd be interesting to see what the story is and how things played out in this one. Like, is Megatronus, a bad guy? Or is he someone who's sort of like maybe more grey than black and white, and the others are more black and white sort of thing. I don't know. But yeah, she looks pretty cool. Nice big hammer.
I can tell by the hammer, on the very top of the hammer, like the top actually part,
Yeah.
you can see her symbol. So it's not the sides, it's the top.
Yes. So we're probably going to touch back on that near the end of the video, where they've shown off all the symbols, all the primes and their symbols, and you can sort of figure out who is who, and we'll look at that. Cybertronian mode, again, kind of like
Futuristic car.
Yeah, it's just a futuristic car. It's not got lots of weapons on it, you know.
Except from where you plug in the hammer.
Yeah, but other than that, you know, not bad. So, of course, next on the one. Now, this one, I will be honest, when I found out this was going to be the Titan, I was disappointed. However, Nathan, and at first we were like, oh, we probably won't get this one. However, now it's turned out he is the 13th Prime, and it is Star Optimus Prime or Star Convoy, and I have the impression that he's starting to grow on you, Nathan.
He is. But like,
so as we've mentioned so many times on these videos, Nathan is a huge fan of Titans, and he's going to be the smallest Titan, balanced out by a cheaper price point. But the way I see it, I think he's expected to be £170, which is what we're going to be paying, well, I'm going to be paying for the reissue of Scorponok, who will be much bigger.
yes, so this guy, I think they're trying to make up with his side for a lot of accessories and blast effects. Like,
Yeah.
they're giving it a trailer, they're giving it a mini-con, they're giving it a sword, a blaster, 2 shoulder cannons, 13 blast effects, whatever
That
that
sword
little,
thing is...
whatever that hilt thing is. I don't know if it's a trailer stand or something like that. You can open up his chest, you can turn him into a really long car, you can give him a base mode. You can do a lot.
I think the only problem... So I mean, if Nathan really wants him, I will do my best to get him for him. I personally would wait for him to be cheaper. Also, but it's so hard to call with Transformers, because some Transformers you think, oh no, that's gonna fly off the shelf, and it doesn't. And then others you think, oh no, not many people will be into that, and it'll fly off the shelf. So it's really hard. That is why we pretty much pre-order anything that we really want, just in case. And then the rest of it, as you'll see at Christmas, Nathan has a few surprises that he doesn't know about.
Ooh.
Where I've seen those Transformers that Nathan's sort of shown a little bit of interest in, but was like, oh god, no, not at that price. And they've gone down quite a lot, and I've managed to snap them up for, and other family members have also snapped them up. He doesn't know about, so that's something to look forward to. Because since you know about most of your Christmas presents. Anyway, back
Sixth already, I need it to progress another 19 days.
So, yeah, I mean, the core class hot rod, okay, you know.
He's just accessories. I think he's just a bonus thing they put in to make him more suitable for the leader class and Titan class price point. Because like, if it was just the figure itself.
Yeah, I think they have tried to balance it out a bit. I'm not sold on it, but it's not my collection. I do these videos with Nathan, you know, and I will advise, again, I've said this a few times, I advise you on things that I think would suit your collection. Some things you have absolutely no choice, you will be getting, like Superion. But then there's others in which I advise but don't push, and if I advise it and you go yes and you snap onto it, then we get it. If you go then, you know, again, like I said, we'll wait for a deal to come on. Yeah, sales and stuff like that. So yeah, so let's move on to the other things that were shown as well. So the last couple of products we want to talk about is, the first one is obviously Armada Red Alert. Nathan, what do you think of this one?
So he does look.
Do you remember much of Red Alert? Because I know he was an Armada character, and you don't remember much of Red Alert. I believe he's a pretty major character, but not really one that resonated with you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So this is one where we might see if he goes cheap. I think he's quite a popular character, so possibly not. But you have Armada Prime, have Armada Megatron.
Yeah.
Bumblebee. No, not Bumblebee. Hotshot.
Yeah.
Who else do you have? No, you don't have Galvatron. Oh, you have Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
So there's also Wheeljack.
Yeah.
Do you want? Because you were umming and ahhing about Wheeljack because we've got that mold before. So potentially, maybe. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about before we go back onto the primes and what else they revealed there is the next collab. Now I know some of our viewers are a massive fan of this franchise, and I know someone particularly who loves both Sonic and Transformers. So Sonic Transformers.
Well, not just Sonic.
Sonic and Tails as Transformers.
So you have the Sonic, which will be shown on screen, and we also have Tails. They come with their little guns. Sonic, well, yeah.
So Sonic's shield is a ring, which I kind of like, and the I believe it's like the I can't remember what the star thing is, but yeah, that it's very on brand anyway. And I love that Tails turns into. I think the Tails actually looks really, really good.
Tails looks pretty good, and then he turns into his
into his plane. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool little feature. Again, we don't have any of the collabs, do we? No.
Mainly because they're very expensive.
They are very expensive. I think the nearest we've got to it is like
£65 for Godzilla.
Yeah, the Godzilla one.
Godzilla. That is in quotation marks, by the way. Godzilla, black and blue Grimlock, you mean?
Yeah, it wasn't very...
£64.
Yeah, not very inspiring. But yeah, so it's cool for those who are fans of Sonic. I think it's a neat little 2-pack. Obviously Sonic is in his car from, I believe, Sonic Racers, so yeah, okay.
I think it's designed to be like the Racers thing where you can have them race.
Yeah, there's a Sonic Racers game, like a go-kart, like their version of Mario Kart, and that's what Sonic drives, even though he's probably faster than that. I don't know how the logic works on that one, but anyway, yeah. I suppose he has to have some sort of transformation mode, and he has driven a car at some point, so there we go. Again, Tails makes the more sense in I love the fact that the names are Wingtail and Blue Booster. That's another thing I like about the collabs. They give them their own names, and it's not just Sonic Transformers. Yeah. It's like they create new Transformers.
I think these ones are a lot better collabs than like Black and Blue Grimlock and whatever Mechagodzilla was meant to be.
I think it's Optimus Prime. It's the G2 Laser Optimus Prime. Yeah, I think it's meant to be
Silver G2 Optimus.
I think it's meant to represent Mechagodzilla. I can't remember. That's all. But yeah,
green trailer. How does that represent Mechagodzilla? There's nowhere in that figure is he green. I have one sitting right in that drawer, right there, and there's no green on that thing.
I don't think it's based on that Mechagodzilla. But anyway, getting Nate off this rant, let's now talk about the 13 primes. Okay, so circling back to the 13 primes, we got this really cool symbol logo thing so each of the 13 primes gets like a symbol. So starting from the top, we've got Vector Prime, who's already been released, but I believe is getting a package refresh in 2026 potentially, or maybe getting I can't remember if it's end of 2025 or 2026. I can't remember which.
Sometime then.
Yeah, so we already got Vector Prime, but he will be getting a re-release. Then we have Primer Prime, which again we've already seen. We have Alchemist Prime, don't know much. Quintus Prime, I believe that'll be some. I wonder if that's something to do with the Quintessons.
Probably.
Potentially. Amalgamous Prime, Nexus Prime, Solus Prime, Onyx Prime, which we've also seen a picture of that one. I highly suspect that will be Dragon, Megatron.
Just brown.
Retool. Yeah, potentially. Legion Maximo, who, when we get the pictures up in a sec, he looks very interesting. Micronus, who I believe has something to do with the Minicons in some continuities, but not in all. Alpha Trion, we all know and love Alpha Trion. We already have a figure of him, which we got in the A Hero Is Born 2-pack. Megatronus, Megatronus who we've always seen, and of course in the middle with the star is Star Convoy or Star Optimus Prime. And I think that was pretty cool because, like I said, and in the next slide, they showed all the 13 primes in like statues of them. There's some people who are very confused because the Star Optimus Prime has got a different chest. It looks very much like the Power Master Prime. I had a Power Master Optimus Prime when I was younger, but the rest look pretty good. Any out there that stand out for you, Nathan?
I mean, first let's address the name. Prime Convoy.
Yeah.
Excuse me? How does that work?
Well, I mean, Legion Maximo has got a very different name, hasn't it? Micronus doesn't have Prime.
Micronus Prime.
But then Megatronus.
Prime.
No, he's just Micronus. He's a Prime, but he's just called Micronus.
So we have
Alpha Trion doesn't have a Prime in his name. Megatronus doesn't have Prime in his name. But there is quite a few primes there.
So Prime, us, on Convoy.
Yeah.
What is that naming pattern?
Maybe we will find out more when this video is released on these. Oh, this is information here. For me, Legion looks very interesting, as well as Quintus Prime. Yes, because he's almost got like a shockwave.
It's the one next to.
That one's Quintus Prime. Yeah. So what was the one next to it? It wasn't Quintus Prime. It's the one with like a scarab almost.
That is there.
Amalgamus Prime, that's the one. He looks pretty interesting. He's got almost like a Soundwave head and like got 4 arms, it looks like, or at least 3. Can't tell if it's 4 or 3 or but yeah, he's quite interesting. Alpha Trion looks a bit like Alpha Trion, you can sort of see there. Vector Prime, again, we've already seen Primus, so it's going to be really interesting to see what these guys. I can't wait to find out what the English version of all this reveals.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really interesting. Anyway, that is it for this video. We were going to do one on the Hasbro one where we saw the Constructicons and Menace and not Menasor, Devastator, but we never got around to doing that, so we just left it.
Yeah.
Our next video should hopefully be the 2024 top 20 figures that he bought this year. It will be only figures that were released this year, so it will be all new figures. And then we'll also maybe do like a little video after Christmas, just like a little collection update. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and leave any comments about what are you guys interested in? What are you looking forward to in 2025? Who will you not and who will you be collecting? And we'll see you all soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all